part 11 of between the difference of people on the right and on the left. So in the last video I was basically explaining why I believe that big corporations should not be held to the same standards as mom and pop shops, or let's put it the opposite way, mom and pop shops should not be held to the same standards as big corporations should be. In other words, for the mom and pop shop, let the market decide how much they pay. Let decide, don't make them a minimum wage. Don't have all these regulations. Let them live. The big corporations, they should be treated like a foreign government. Okay? Now, I would say, let's say any business, any big corporation that has between over 100 people, let's say, or some will argue 100 is not a big company, let's say 500 people. But I would say even if you have 100 people and up, you're already, you're like a small government for yourself. You're not just a business right here. If you have a business with 100 people, you started gobbling up the market already. How many businesses have 100 people? You know, all these mom and pop shops, all these restaurants have 10 people, 20 people, 30 people. Nobody goes to 100. But let's say, for the argument, let's say 500 people. The minute you have 500 people behind your company, you are a huge company. So no matter what line you go in, no matter what line you do, you will always push the little person out. So it's like a little government which comes in between the people that we did not hire and making their own rules. For an example, we spoke in the previous videos about real estate, right? Let the market decide. Let every investor decide how much they want to take for a house. But let's say somebody has already a real estate company and he needs to have more than 100 people. Or let's even put it this way, over 100 houses. That company owns over 100 houses or 500 houses, whatever the number we're going to decide, right? That company should be treated as a foreign government. It's not a small business anymore, or it's not a business at all. It's a government thing. Because let's say if you let that company that owns so many houses in the United States, if you don't make restrictions on them how much rent they can take, they themselves are able to go to a whole area, to a whole county, and basically buy everything off. They go into a town, they buy off the whole town, and then they raise the rent because they are the one making the market. So it's not like let the market decide. They're actually the one making the market. So now we're getting to the point again. People right and the left. People on the right want free market and capitalism. People on the left want socialism. But in reality, we both want the same thing. We do not want to be slaves. Okay? Now people on the right will say we need to swallow a bad pill for these big corporations. So in other hands, we don't lose our rights as individual people. People on the left say no, we want socialism. And many of them say even want communism. Everyone the same, no rich or no rich people and no poor people, everyone the same. Which basically shows in history it never worked. Again, but the solution for this, I would argue, would be leave capitalism for the individual person. So if you want to go out and decide it, you want to open a business, you should not be able to struggle with laws that were imposed because these big corporations were taking advantage of the market and basically controlling the market. You shouldn't be suffering for that. That big corporation, I couldn't care less if they go out of business. Okay? Now, with that being said, I couldn't care less if they go out of business. It's not 100% true. Now, we also have to look into see which company. So let's say you have a company, let's say like Samsung and iPhone, or making the smartphones, right? You don't have that many big companies that have the knowledge or had the knowledge when they came out with it, how to do this, right? So if you kill off every big corporation, some stuff you just need them. Things are not going to happen if they're not here. So you got to be very careful not to kill them off. Let them make a profit, but control them. Okay? However, in a certain point, in certain cases, I would argue and say, you know what? Let's say you're killing off the company. Let's say you're killing off Apple or other companies. They're going to say we're going out from the United States. We're not going to produce our products. You know what we should tell them? Bye. Have a nice day. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Or actually let it. And when they start to importing their products to the United States, that's when we hit them with the tariff tax. Yeah, but the tariff tax eventually is gonna hurt the person who buys the product. Well, it's gonna hurt the person who buys the product. It's not gonna hurt him. It's basically gonna bring it to the original price which it was supposed to cost. It only cost cheap because basically slaves paid for it. When this company is in the United States or goes out anywhere else and pays people pennies, people do not have enough money to make a living to buy simple essentials, and you get a good price. Why are you so happy about it? People slaved for it. We'll continue in the next part.